Situla Radio
කාලීන ක්‍රීඩා සංගරාමය හා විනෝදය සමග ලාංකීය සංගීත රසයෙන් පිරි දෝහා කටාර සිට ගෙන එන ප්‍රථම සහ එකම අන්තර්ජාල ගුවන් විදුලිය
Situla Radio
දැන්ම පිවිසෙන්න අපගේ නිල Facebook පිටුවට සොඳුරු රසාස්වාදයක ලාංකීය සන්නාමය ඔබේ හදවතේ ආදරණීය නවාතැන.
Let's go. This is your radio. Your station. Situla Radio.
www.sitularadio.com
Hello everyone, welcome to Situla Online Radio, the one and only Sri Lankan online radio in Qatar. So today you are joining a very special show. We got a very exclusive interview with one of the Sri Lankan world athletics, HIRUNI Vijayaratne. So first of all, welcome to the show, HIRUNI.
Thank you.
So this is right after the IAAF Games, World Athletic Championship in Doha, which was held on last Friday, and you were the only Sri Lankan participated representing Sri Lanka. So first of all, let us know, how did you feel about this proud moment?
Yeah, it was one of the, if I had to rank the moment that I had last week, this past Friday, it was one of the proudest moments of my life. And I think it was very important for me to be on that start line and to give Sri Lankans near and far a reason to cheer and a reason to know that there's an athlete representing our country and raising our flag still. And the support that I received on race day was unreal. I've never experienced something like that ever. I don't even think if I was racing on the streets of Colombo I would receive that support. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who took the time out of their night to come and support me.
So you never expected this much cheer and support from Doha Sri Lankans?
Not in the slightest bit. I thought I would come here and I would quietly run my race and there will be some articles here and there and then I'll go back home. But the warm welcome I received, and from that day on all the way through my race and even now, it's been an overwhelming amount of support.
That's great to hear. So everyone, talking about HIRUNI Vijayaratne, we have a lot to talk about. Actually, she is American, based in US, but she is originally a Sri Lankan. So we would like to know about your personal background.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Colombo 5. That's where my family is from. I attended St. Bridget's Convent until grade 4. And so in the year 2000, my family migrated to the United States.
Okay.
We settled outside of Washington, D.C. in Virginia. And that's where I finished my middle school and high school when I started really focusing on competitive running.
Okay. So are you currently living in DC?
No, I currently live in Colorado.
Okay.
So after I graduated high school, I got a scholarship to attend the University of Kentucky.
Okay. So HIRUNI, you were saying that during your childhood you lived in Sri Lanka. So at that time, did you have any sporting experiences?
I did, yes. I participated in sports in St. Bridget's. I did inter-school meets there. That's really where I started running the sport of track and field. My inspiration at the time was my oldest cousin. She was also a Bridgetine, and she was excelling in sports. And we called her Ranaki, and I wanted to be just like her. When you see your older cousins, you follow in their footsteps, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't do long distance there. I did 40-meter, these medleys, these relays, and I was the deputy sports captain in grade 4 at St. Bridget's Convent.
So you had a lot of sporting experiences during your childhood?
Yeah, very limited, but yes, I did. And there is even a picture of me at the St. Bridget's sports meet holding the Olympic flag. And
that's cool.
My goal is to eventually fulfill that dream, because as an 8-year-old, I was holding the Olympic flag in St. Bridget's, and I would love to walk into Tokyo holding the Olympic flag for Sri Lanka.
We wish so. So, by the way, marathon and this long distance are not popular events in athletics. So why did you select this kind of event?
I've never been one want to do what's popular or what the easiest thing to do is. I think marathon and endurance event in athletics is one of the most difficult things.
Exactly.
Not only do you have to focus and train harder, but there's also so many things on the competition day that you can't control. So I enjoy the challenge.
All right. So in that case, as of now, how many records do you hold?
I hold 10 Sri Lankan national records. Overall. In distances as short as the 1 mile, that's just over 1,500 meters, and my maximum distance is the marathon.
Okay, so out of those, what's your favorite event out of the 3 main events that you do?
The marathon, for sure. The marathon is my pet event. I mean, it's the event that's brought me the greatest amount of success. But even if it didn't bring me success, I really like the challenge. It's like a puzzle. And every time you step on the line, it's a new opportunity to put the puzzle together.
All right. So what were your recent records?
Most recently, a couple months ago, I set the 5,000 meter road national record for Sri Lanka. It's actually faster than the track record.
That was in Sri Lanka?
It was in the US.
Okay.
And then I reset back in April when I ran the national record for the marathon. I also ran the national record for the 30K and the 25K distances.
So as per record, HIRUNI Wijeratne is the fastest Sri Lankan athlete
On the roads.
Exactly. So what are your future dreams? Everyone says so. You're going to be the Sri Lankan world athletics star after Susantika Jaisinghe.
Those are big shoes to fill. I think maybe one step at a time to get to that level. But I would love to, my next big opportunity to represent Sri Lanka and put the Sri Lankan uniform on is the South Asian Games in Kathmandu.
Okay, when this is happening?
It's in December of this year.
This year? Not too far.
Not too far. So I have an opportunity coming real soon. And I would love to bring home at least 1, if not 2 gold medals.
All right. Coming back to Doha IAAF World Championship, so how did you find these different weather conditions? Because most of the time you being running in Sri Lanka and in US, so this is extremely different.
It was a complete difference and something I have never felt before. And of course I knew when Doha was awarded the World Championship opportunity that it was going to be hot.
Okay.
But I had no idea of the heat and the mix of the humidity. I've done heat training, but I've never experienced the heat and the humidity mixed, as well as the challenge of starting at midnight. Because everything that we have learned to do as athletes is your event is in the morning. You practice in the morning.
That's right.
And that's how my body is tuned to be.
Okay. And this happened at midnight.
Yeah, it was just something totally different. Not just for me, I'm sure for everybody else. But it was very challenging circumstances.
Do you think that if you had training in the region, somewhere in the region, in the Middle East, so would have done better?
Yeah, I mean, being acclimated always helps your opportunities, but in my situation, that was not realistic. I work a full-time job.
Exactly.
If I took leave from work, I wouldn't get paid. And if I didn't get paid, I can't pay my bills. So this was the earliest I could come here.
As you're talking about your employment, so your fans would love to know your other profession.
I work as the director of sales for a technology company. They're based in San Francisco in the United States. I travel there about once or twice a month, but I work mostly remote from my home office in Colorado.
So HIRUNI, could we discuss about your family background? So this sporting talent, this skill should be coming from your genes.
I think so.
At least to some extent, I believe.
I think you're right. I think to an extent it does. If you look at my calf muscles, they look just the size of my dad's.
Totally different to mine, by the way.
So my dad was a sportsman. He did sports at Royal College. My mom was never an athletic person.
Would you like to mention their names?
Yeah, Punu Wijeratne. I don't know what batch he was, but he's a well-known sportsman in Royal College. And I have been told that my grandfather was also a sportsman on my mother's side. So
there you go.
So those are the two genes coming together. But I think more than genetics, when you get to this level in sports, you need dedication and support. And that's one thing that I've always been grateful to my mother for. She has driven me to practice, taken me to meets, stayed for hours and hours at a time when it was time for me to compete. And so I don't think that without her support, I would be here, sitting here talking to you.
Okay, so other than your mother, so who inspired you to become a professional athlete?
There's many sources that I draw inspiration from. Of course, my parents are my role models. When we went to the United States, they taught me about hard work and how you had to work to earn every opportunity that you were provided. Then there are several women in the marathon field that I draw inspiration from, especially women who have families and who have other demands in their lives, because that's my life. I mean, I'm not a mom, but I have other demands. So sporting is not my only focus. In my 24 hours.
So do you mean to say that you're not a full-time athlete?
I act like a full-time athlete, but I don't have.
But in reality, you're not.
No, I'm not. For example, I will on a day I'll run 30 kilometers and then I have to go to work for 9 hours. So I can't sit and rest and get a massage because there are other things that take my attention.
Looking at your profile, Hiruni, I could see that you are a person that motivated, self-motivated. How do you have to say about that?
Thank you. That's
what
a
I
big
feel
compliment.
because I just met you.
Yeah, I am. I am quite self-motivated, and I think that has to do with a lot with the way that I was brought up.
That's right.
I think most people in my family are very self-motivated people, and I think that if you want, especially in the sport of running, it's you versus you. It's not a team sport.
That's right.
If you want to get better, you have to want to get better. You can't just expect someone to give you support and say, go run. You have to internally want to always do better.
All right. So talking about your training, so far, who have been your trainers? And
Currently my coach is the same coach that helped me get started with running when we moved to the United States.
What's his name?
His name is Peter Sherry.
Okay.
He's a very passionate, loud man. So, but I like that because he keeps me, I like to get very quiet and be goal focused, but he likes to help me see the bigger picture and enjoy the process, because in the end of the day, you only have your memories, right?
You're right.
Win or lose.
Absolutely.
And so like records can be broken. So he has helped me really open my eyes to enjoy the process.
So how long you have been training with him?
So I started training with him when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
I'm 28 now, so I've been with him for almost 15 years. But intermediately, I had a college coach.
Okay.
But I think this relationship that me and Pete has worked, and I wouldn't trust anybody else to guide me, hopefully to the Olympic Games more than him.
So when you travel to other countries for events like IAAF Championship in Doha, so do you get the same trainer or there's a separate trainer assigned to you personally?
No.
Or is it for the event?
It's usually Sri Lanka will send a team manager. He's not my coach. It's just somebody who's there to look over my well-being to make sure I am taken care of.
Fine. So you do your own training over here?
Yeah, I come here and I do my own training.
Okay. So before the event that happened in Doha, so did you got any training?
I did, yeah. From the moment I landed here, I was running twice a day, morning, short run, evening, longer run. And I was running consciously in the evening to get used to running at midnight. So the latest I ran here was, I think, maybe 8:30, 9 p.m. But I needed to be able to run when it was not sunny outside and get used to the heat and humidity.
All right. So since you have been in Sri Lanka for a while for the previous events, so what is your advice for the upcoming athletes in Sri Lanka? I'm sure that you have experienced what's happening over there, you know, the circumstances, the obstacles that the athletes are experiencing.
Yeah.
So what is your advice to them?
I think my biggest advice is don't take no for an answer. I think that if you have a dream to want to be really great, whether it's a really great regional, national, or international athlete, that you should find a way. There will be many people who say no to you. There were people who said no to me before I got to this level, but I don't take no for an answer. And I think that if I can give one main piece of advice to upcoming young athletes is to never take no for an answer and to always find a way. If you have a passion, find a way to keep that fire going.
So Hiruni, talking about your incredible performance back in Houston in 2018, you were able to beat Sri Lankan athlete Niluka Rajasekara. So how did you feel about that?
Yeah, so my main
I think that record was for more than 15 years, I guess.
I think actually
Is it the one or is it the other one?
she broke the record that was standing for more than 15 years.
15 years, that's right,
Yeah.
yes.
And she was an Olympian. She was the only female representative
Exactly.
in athletics at the Rio Olympics. So she's a very respected and decorated runner. And I mean, it was my goal to break that record.
Did you ever plan for this? I mean, that you wanted to beat this record?
It was more of a long-term goal. I didn't intend for it to happen at the Houston Marathon because at the time I was still 3 minutes slower than this record.
Okay.
But I improved my personal best by 7 minutes on that day. And so it was a massive run for me, and it was quite unexpected. But having done that, I mean, that was a very special moment for me because I think that sent a message to the Sri Lankan Athletics Association to say that HIRUNI is somebody worth your time. Because before that, it was really, really hard for me to get their attention.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I was the second best athlete in the country, because I was not living in the country, it was very difficult for me
That's right.
to show them that I was serious about this. But the moment I broke that record, it opened a whole lot of doors for me.
So this was the breakthrough event.
It was the breakthrough performance that I needed to prove to Sri Lanka that I was worth.
And suddenly everyone started talking about you.
Yeah, exactly. People like talking. There's something to talk about when things are going well, right? So yeah.
Exactly, that's true. So after breaking Niluka's record, so what is your next step?
After
To which
breaking,
record you're focusing on?
yeah. So since that, I broke that record again. So Niluka ran 2 hours and 40 minutes, and my personal best now, which is the national record, is 2:34. So it's been improved by 6 minutes in the past year and a half. My next goal is to run under 2 hours and 30 minutes.
2 hours and 30 minutes, so that means 6 minutes better than your existing record.
Yeah, 5 minutes better.
5 minutes.
Mhm.
But you have been improving over the past, right?
I have been, yes. And actually, if it was on Friday night in a different climate, I think that my training is very indicative that I was ready to run under 2 hours and 30 minutes. Of course, it wasn't in the cards for me this past Friday, but hopefully I will get opportunity to run a marathon in much more pleasant weather where I can use my fitness to my advantage.
And we hope for that.
Me too.
So during the last 4 to 5 years, HIRUNI has achieved incredible performance in various events. So I would like to have a chat with you about those. You know, in Houston and some other places, so you've been extremely excellent.
Yeah, so in 2017, I won the Eugene Marathon in Oregon, and when I won that marathon, that qualified me for the 2017 World Championships, which were in London.
Okay.
And following that, in 2018, I won the Arizona Half Marathon, which is where I set the Sri Lankan national record that currently stands for the half marathon distance. And then following that, there was 2 second place finishes, very close to second place finishes. First in Indianapolis. So that Indianapolis was the place where I ran my very first marathon. So it's a very special place for me because had that marathon not gone well, I probably wouldn't continue to run marathons.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it was a great first experience that has kept me hungry for more.
Okay.
So in 2018, I got second place there. I was in first place until the last 600 meters, and I got out sprinted to the finish line. So after 42 kilometers, I got out sprinted. And then most recently on April 28th in Dusseldorf, Germany, I was leading the race until 37 kilometers, and then I got passed for second place. But that is the race that I ran my personal best, which is 2:34, which is the next Sri Lankan record, of course, but also bettered the Indian South Asian record, so now I'm the South Asian record holder.
Congratulations for that.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. I didn't know at the time because that was not even on my radar, but
I think that's the most exciting part of your career. Until you reach that point, you wouldn't know whether you have
Yeah.
achieved the record, whether you have break a record. That's so exciting.
It's super exciting because I think, I mean, when we have big goals for ourselves, and it's always, you know, this big out there goal, and sometimes you have these amazing days where everything just goes right, and then you achieve above and beyond what your big goal was. So that was one of those days for me in Germany.
So, talking about good and bad days, what was your bad day?
My bad days anytime I can't finish a race. So this past Friday, like that was a very bad day for me. I have spent almost a year of my life training for that day, and when it doesn't come together and my body gave up on me, like that made me really, very disappointed and obviously very dissatisfied. Another bad day was the Asian Games in Jakarta last year. I was given the opportunity to run the 10,000 meters on the track for Sri Lanka, and there was some unfortunate technical issues that happened leading up to the race that was just mentally very, very difficult, and so that was a bad day for me. But I think anytime I start and I cross the finish line is a good day, whether I win, lose, break a record or not, because I think it's always special when you cross the finish line.
Definitely. So during this career, who are your close competitors?
So that's a good question because that varies. My close competitors are anybody on the start line with me. So if I'm running a race in the United States and they're all American girls on the start line, my main goal is to beat all of them.
All right.
There's no
I'm very
easy
proud
way.
of you being a Sri Lankan, to be honest.
There's no easy way to say that. They're my competitors. When I'm on the start line of international competition, it's different because these are the top athletes in the world. And so, yes, I do want to beat them, but I also want to compete against them. So I'm not going to be upset if somebody beats me. I just want to make sure that I'm using them to challenge myself.
Fine. So in the Asian countries, who is your competitor? Top competitors, I would say.
Yeah, I would say the Indian female marathoners. So at the South Asian Games that I'm going to be participating in December, they're going to be my top competitors.
Right.
And I hope that they give me a good fight, and I hope that I can be stronger to, cross the finish line before them.
Definitely, and we wish you very best for all the upcoming events. So Hiruni Vijayaratna had an excellent interview with Situla Online Radio today. I take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of Situla Radio and all the Sri Lankans living in Doha, Qatar, for taking your time. And it's been a real privilege and honor to us to have you on this show today.
Thank you.
Lastly, what do you have to say about Situla Online Radio? Actually, this was started just a few months ago and yet to develop.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think anytime Sri Lankans abroad has a platform to, whether it's to hear news or get to know somebody new or just to share the passion of being Sri Lankan, because we're a small community, right? It's not like we have 1 billion people of us around the world. I think that's a very special opportunity, and so it's an honor for me to be a part of this community. And I want to also take a moment to thank all the Sri Lankans who came out to support me one more time, because you really made my 21 kilometers I did complete better, so thank you.
So are there any special persons that you need to thank personally during your time in Doha?
Yes, absolutely. My oldest cousin, Anushka, lives here in Doha, and she has been an incredible mentor, friend, almost like a sister to me. She's taken me to see all the amazing things that Doha has to offer besides running in the Corniche, which is what I got to experience myself.
I hope you enjoyed the stay in Doha apart from your event.
I did. I think it's fabulous. Hopefully I can come back here for a vacation, not to run a marathon, but to come back here for a vacation, maybe in the winter months. But I just wanted to thank her from the bottom of my heart, because I was very down after my race, and had it not be for her and including me in the community of friends that she had built here, I think that I would be leaving Doha much more disappointed than I am now.
Any other organizations, persons that you would like to mention
yes,
at this
moment?
moment?
The Ethera Api organization gave me a fantastic surprise welcome with a massive flower bouquet. I love flowers, so I wanted to tell them thank you, and for also spreading the word that I was going to be here, because
exactly.
I think that was
the initiative.
They did. They made posters and these online flyers, so I'm very, very grateful. I mean, none of this was anything I asked for, so I'm so humble and appreciative. It brought tears to my eyes to see all the Sri Lankans out on the streets, and 100% sure that I had more fans than anybody else on that marathon route.
Personally, since I was there, I witnessed while you were running on the road in Doha. So actually, there were a lot of Sri Lankans gathered. Actually, they were scattered in some other places, various places. But the noise that they made, I cannot explain the feeling. So one of your Sri Lankans, one of your nationalities on the road, running an event representing your mother country, it's a great honor.
Well, I mean,
everybody was sweating. It was so humid out there.
It was.
Still, we enjoy all the moment. I mean, every bit of it.
I'm glad we got to share it. So thank you, and I mean I hope that I can continue to give Sri Lanka a reason to cheer, and yeah, that's my ultimate goal. Like I'm not in here to gain fame or change the sport or anything like that. I just want the young athletes in Sri Lanka and elsewhere to know that there's always a way, so continue to find that, continue to work hard towards your goals, and whatever you do it with 100% passion, because in the end of the day, all you have are your memories, and you can only be thankful to yourself. And so that's one piece of advice that I can give.
So once again, on behalf of all the Sri Lankans living in Doha and on behalf of Situla Online Radio, we thank you for taking this opportunity and taking this time to joining with us. And we all wish you all the very best for your future events, and one day we want to see you at the Olympic Games.
Thank you so much, and that's my goal also, so let's do it.
Wishes and prayers always be with you, Hiruni. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
හිරුනි විජේරත්න දොහකට රාජ්‍යයේ ගුවන් තොටුපළට ගොඩ බැස්ස වෙලාවේ ඉඳලම මේ දක්වාම ඇයගේ කටයුතු සාර්ථක කර ගැනීමට ඒ වගේම ඇයව දොහකට රාජ්‍ය ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ප්‍රජාවට හඳුන්වා දීම සඳහා එතර අපි සංවිධානයේ විසින් විශේෂ පරිශ්‍රමයක් දැරුවා. ඉතින් අද වැඩසටහනට එම සංවිධානයේ සභාපති අරුණ රුවන් කුමාර මහතා අපිත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඉන්නවා. අයිබෝන්. ඉතින් අපි දැනගන්න කැමති ඇයි ඔබ මේ වගේ විශේෂ කටයුත්තක් නැත්නම් හිරුනි විජේරත්නව දොහකට රාජ්‍ය ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයින්ට හඳුන්වා දීමේ කටයුත්තට පෙරදරි වුණේ? ඒ වගේ පරිශ්‍රමයක් දැරුවේ?
අපේ විදේශගත ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන් වශයෙන් ඇත්තටම අපි මේ රටවල ශ්‍රී ලංකාවෙන් ඈත්ව තනි වෙලා ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අපිට මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක මේ වගේ ක්‍රීඩිකාවක් දොහා රාජ්‍යයට පැමිණීම ඇත්තටම සතුටුදායක අවස්ථාවක්. ඉතින් අපි හිතනවා අපි අවස්ථාවේදී ක්‍රීඩිකාවන් තනි නොකරනද අපි සතුටු වෙන්නේ ක්‍රීඩිකාව පිළිගන්න ඕනේ. ඒක අපේ ආගමික සත්කාර අපේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ජාතියේ තියෙන ලක්ෂණයක්. ඉතින් ඒ ආගම් සත්කාරات එක්ක අපිට හැකි වුණා හිරුනි මහත්මිය එයාපෝට් එකේ ඉඳන් පිළිගන්න පොටට දක්වා එක ගිහිල්ලා මේ අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු සම්පාදනය කරන්න. මම හිතන්නේ මේක අපට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වශයෙන් ලොකු අවස්ථාවක් කියලා මට හිතෙන්නේ.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපි ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ප්‍රජාව වශයෙන් ඔබට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා ඔබගේ සංවිධානයටත් ඒ කර්තව්‍යයට කරගැසීම හේතුවෙන්. ඉතින් අපි මේ සංවිධානය ගැන කතා කරොත් මම හිතන්නේ දොහකට රාජ්‍යයේ වෙසෙන සියලුම ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයින් දැනගන්න කැමති වෙයි. ඒතර අපි සංවිධානය කියන්නේ කුමක්ද?
ඒතර අපි සංවිධානය කියන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගේ විදේශගත ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගේ වෘත්තීය සමිතියයි. නමුත් ඒක අපි මේ රටේදී ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් අපේ වෘත්තීය සමිතිය බලාපොරොත්තුන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික රජයට. අපේ මූලික අරමුණ විදේශගත ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගේ සුබ සාධනය සහ අයිතිවාසිකම්.
සංවිධානයක් හැටියට වසර කිහිපයක් දොහකට රාජ්‍යයේ මම හිතන්නේ ඔබ කටයුතු කරනවා. කට රාජ්‍යයේ පමණක් ඔබ සංවිධානය කටයුතු කරන්නේ නැත්නම් වෙනත් රටවල ඔබගේ ශාඛා තිබෙනවද?
අපේ ප්‍රධාන ශාඛා රටවල් 20කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක තියෙනවා. උදාහරණ වශයෙන් ගන්නවා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව
ශාඛාව මෙහෙවන්නේ.
ප්‍රධාන ශාඛාව තියෙන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ.
යමකට ක්‍රියාශීලීව ඔබේ සංවිධානයට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් කොහොමද සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ?
ඔව් අපි මේ දෝහා නගරයේ තියෙන සෑම ප්‍රදේශයකම අපේ ශාඛාවේ සංවිධායකවරු ඉන්නවා. ඊට අමතරව අපේ Facebook පිටුවක් තියෙනවා. ඒතර අපි කටාර කියලා ඒකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකෙන් අපිට මැසේජ් දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
බොහොමත්ම ස්තුතියි අද අපි වැඩසටහන සම්බන්ධ වීම ගැන අරුණ මහත්මයා. ඉතින් ඔබේ සංවිධානයේ කටයුතු සාර්ථකව ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යාමට අපගේ සුබ පැතුම් ඒ වගේම සිතුල රේඩියෝ සංවිධායක මණ්ඩලය වෙනුවෙන් මගේ ස්තුතිය පොද කරනවා. ඒ වගේම අද දවසේ ඔබගේ කාලය මෙඩංගු කරලා වැඩසටහනකට සහභාගී වීම ගැන බොහොමත්ම ස්තුතියි.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි සිතුල රේඩියෝ ආයතනයට මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
So once again, finally, I thank everyone on behalf of Situla Online Radio for joining us for this exclusive interview with Hiruni Vijayaratna. And on behalf of all the Sri Lankans living in Doha, we wish her all the very best for her future events and to be the fastest female runner in the world stage representing Sri Lanka one day. Thank you so much.
Situla Radio.
කාලීන ක්‍රීඩා සංග්‍රාමය හා විනෝදය සමග ලාංකීය සංගීත රසයෙන් පිරි දෝහා කටාර සිට ගෙන එන ප්‍රථම සහ එකම අන්තර්ජාල ගුවන් විදුලිය
Situla Radio.
දැන්ම පිවිසෙන්න අපගේ නිල Facebook පිටුවට. සොඳුරු රසාස්වාදයක ලාංකීය සන්නාමය ඔබේ හදවතේ ආදරණීය නවාතැන.
Let's go. This is your radio. Your station. Situla Radio.
www.sitularadio.com.
Situla.